The cultural foundation is the main necessity to make our Bharat develop. If we want to live in a Bharat, we have to think seriously about the cultural foundation. See, here Babar has not constructed any pilgrimage place, not a worship place as it is. It was a political supremacy symbol. It was a non-national attempt. It is to ridicule us, belittle us. Muslims do not have the slightest right to complain about the destruction of one mosque. From 1000 AD, every Hindu temple from Kathiawar to Bihar, from the Himalaya to the Vindhyas, has been sacked and ruined. No nation with any self-respect will forgive this. Namaskar, Kumari Rashmi Samant, and all brothers and sisters who are here to hear Rashmi. I am quite sure that what all we were expecting, of course, it was not that long, but in a crisp, in a abridged way, she presented the content of this beautiful book beautifully, and also a certain aspect which are just now our friend has told, which was unknown to us all. He threw light to that area also. Actually, I am participating in this function and become a part of this releasing function with a bit fear. Fear because just now Rashmi was telling me that the first of her books, that is A Hindu in Oxford, was released by our most revered Dama Ravindraji. And the sale of that book has skyrocketed, and it became a global hit in that day. And he was, naturally she is suspecting such a thing from me also. That's why I'm with a bit hesitancy. I'm announcing that this wonderful book has been released here before you all. I would like to request you all to go through it. I can't say that I have studied it, but once I got the copy, not the hard copy, I have tried my level best to read it through my mobile. It was only a cursory reading, but still I found that this book is not just a narration about the struggle for Rama Janmabhumi's mukti, but it is actually a discussion about the contemporary Hindu discourse. Just like some points she has mentioned, that our history, our itihasa is a mythology. Our great forefathers, our great unknown warriors and gods are mere myths. Recently, you must have heard about one of the cruel comments made by the Speaker of Kerala. In Kerala Assembly, he has made, not inside the Kerala Assembly, but in a function where he was participating, he has announced that Ganapati is a myth. Ganesh also is a unwanted festival. See, he's a communist fellow and also a Muslim by belief. He should not have done that. But some people have reminded me at that time an ancient sloka. Markadasya surapanam madhye vrishtiga damshanam tan madhye bhuta sancharam. स्थिति क्या हो जाएगा भाई ऐसा. अब जिन लोगों को संस्कृत मालूम है, they might have understood that meaning. If Mangi is a chapala, he will, it will jump from one branch to another branch. It will not sit somewhere quietly. If such a markada or mangi is being drunk with a toddy or something, and what would be the situation? And such a situation, one scorpion will spit on his bottom, on his ass. What would be the condition? That is Shamsir's condition. So he said that Ganesha, Ganapati is a myth. That example has not been told here, but it became a usual practice of some persons to ridicule Hindutva. Why it is happening actually? If any Dick and Jerry can comment upon Hindutva, Hindu Samskriti, Hindu God, our festivals like this, it's only because of ours. Our reaction is not up to the mark. We are not organized. We are still thinking about our political ideology, caste, language and everything. We must organize ourselves in a way. In Sangha Prarthana, in Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh's Prarthana, there is a line, Ajayancha Vishwasya Dehi Isha Shakti. I need a Shakti wherein which no enemy dare to look at me with a wrong intention. Such a Shakti, such a strength is needed for us. It can be organized only through proper Hindu Sanghadan. We can attain that position only then. Again on this day, when Rashmi Samant's this book is being released, we all know what is the condition, what is the atmosphere in the whole world regarding the belief, our Hindu belief and Hindu culture and everything. In a big number, the whole world is turning towards Hindutva. Only question is whether we are coming up to the expectation. Whether we are ready to go up to that expectation. Let me start with quoting two lines from the famous poem written by William Wordsworth, The Prelude. He wrote this poem in 1790. What was the significance of 1790? The fag end of 18th century. What was the condition? You know, that was the time when French Revolution happened. Already she has mentioned about the French Revolution also. Wordsworth was very much attracted towards the values which are being propagated by the leaders of French Revolution. So he wrote in that prelude that bliss was it in that dawn to be alive. Bliss was it that in that dawn to be alive. We are alive in this particular dawn. And again he was writing, but to be young was very heaven. So at the time of French Revolution, living itself is a bliss. But just like Rishmi, if we are all young, that would be heaven. That would be heaven. So such a great sacred condition and the point of our history, in a particular point of our history, we are all living. I believe it goes well with the feeling of each and every well-meaning Hindu, the patriot Hindu, the true Hindu. They are all feeling in this way that when Rama Janmabhoomi Mandir is being inaugurated, the Prana Pratishtha is going to happen, we are all living because of our punya. Punya, whether we have done anything in this Janma or in the previous Janma, or our parents have done some punya, but we have to think it in this way. But that doesn't mean we shall all rush to Ayodhya on 22nd. In the Vikti Gita, Divyaji has asked us all to be present there. Amantran has been given. So, hum sab jayenge wahan. But our revered Pradhana Mantri has already asked us not to come now. You will get a time. I think Karnataka people are going in the month of March only, because already Ayodhya is feeling suffocation with the pilgrims flowing into that area. That is a condition for the whole world. Many of the country heads are all requesting to allow them to be there at that point of time. So that is a condition. And this particular poem and its title has got another meaning also. Prelude, you know the meaning of prelude. A prelude to a Vishwaguru Bharat. Bharat is going to become Vishwaguru Bharat. And Rama Janmabhoomi Mandir inauguration in that way is a prelude to Vishwaguru Bharat. We are all working for that also. The national reconstruction or the developed Bharat concept. See, as far as the development of any nation is concerned, there is an approved framework for it. A framework for making a nation developed. People are saying one side is economic development or economic foundation, another is legal foundation, another is social one, and these are the minimum requirements of any nation's development. But as far as at least Bharat is concerned, the cultural foundation is the main necessity to make our Bharat develop. Otherwise we can become an India, developed India, but it will not be a Bharat, a developed Bharat. If we want to live in a Bharat, we have to think seriously about the cultural foundation. So I think the title of this book can also be changed into that way. Rama Janmabhoomi, the cultural foundation for a developed nation. We are all thinking and we are all saying the fact that this is a great moment. Not great, it is the greatest moment in the history. Why we are saying it is the greatest moment in the history of Bharat? I would like to highlight some points before you. First and foremost thing which I would like to say, that Bharat is attaining its true freedom on January 22nd. It's a National Freedom Day. That's it. See, when Maharishi Aurobindo defining what Indian independence struggle is, he made a wonderful speech in the title. That speech has been published as a small book in the title, Awakening Indian Souls. Awakening Indian Souls. In that book, he has mentioned about the necessity of the cultural foundation or the freedom in the cultural field, Samskritik Swatandriya. He started it with these beautiful words that he said, our task is not mechanical or artificial. Our task is not a mechanical one. Not even political alone. What was the task? Indian independence struggle. We are all participating in the Swatandriya Sangram, and it is not a political or a mechanical or an artificial thing. What's it actually? It is a moral and spiritual task. It's a moral and spiritual task. When we can say Bharat has actually attained freedom, when the very content of this nation, that is the spiritual or cultural content of this nation, I would like to say that is Sanatana Dharma. That is the content, the very content of this nation. If we are able to apply that very content or the spiritual content of this land, this great nation, in each and every field, in education, in industry, in planning, art, literature, and everywhere, also in politics also, then and then only you can say that we have attained the complete freedom. See, for the last 76 years, whether we are able to attain this cultural freedom, that's why I am saying, when Rama Janmabhoomi was liberated and the completion of the temple construction has happened, and or the prana pratishtha is being done, it simplifies, it gives a simple before you that Bharat has at last attained its cultural freedom. Cultural basis, the foundation, that is the real reason of a nation. When Babasaheb Ambedkar was participating in the anthropological seminar in Columbia University, you know, right from the beginning of the 20th century itself was transformed into a JNU of Europe. At that time, JNU was not started. Rashmi knows it very well. How it has influenced even Oxford. She is a victim of that. That also. So, in Columbia University, Babasaheb Ambedkar, being an alumnus of Columbia University, not as an alumnus, he was an expert in cultural, social aspects. He presented a paper on the caste, and that particular speech has also been printed as a book also. You can read it. In that, Babasaheb Ambedkar has clearly mentioned that Bharath's geographical unity is a reality. Not even a single country in the world can rival us with the unity of, just like Bharat Peninsula is enjoying. But it is not a geographical unity alone. The main reason of this unity is the indubitable cultural unity that spreads from end to end. What is that end to end? From southern point to Himalaya. We are one only because we have got one culture. So that's why I am saying that cultural foundation is the main reason. And or in another way, when we are thinking about the national reconstruction, we cannot go by the Western framework. We must have our own framework, our own way to look at it. That is the way which Babasaheb Ambedkar, Mahatma Gandhiji, Lokmanya Tilak, Swami Vivekananda, Maharishi Aurobindo has all categorically stated that that is our great Sanskriti, our culture. Who is the greatest symbol of this Bharatiya Sanskriti or Bharatiya Dharma? Valmiki himself has defined one person as the manifestation of Dharma or Sanskriti. Ramo Vigrahavan Dharma. In Ramayana, he has clearly mentioned Ramo Vigrahavan Dharma, the real manifestation or the epitome of Dharma. Actually, Narada, when he met Valmiki, he asked only, please tell me, please teach me, please give me the education about a true man. Valmiki asked Narada to tell me about a true man having 12 or I think 16 gunas. He has mentioned what all guna he needs. These type of narratives have been made by these people. Such people are trying to create division in Bharata, and they try to create such a narrative in which they are saying that north and south are different. But do you know, Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia, just like Ambedkar also, these people, the same people are considering Lohia as their leader because he is a socialist. He once talked about the unity of Bharat and he made a wonderful statement how Bharat is one. Many of you must have read about that. He said, I am quoting him, Lord Rama connected Bharat north to south. Lord Sri Krishna connected west to east. And the third sentence is most dangerous one. See, first two can be, those people can also approve because Rama and Krishna is historical figures. The third one is Lord Mahadeva, Shiva is present in each and every grain of this land. Kangar kangar mein shankar hai. So, Rama, Krishna and Shiva, all are they? They are the cultural, the epitome of the culture that already I have said. In the very same way, Rama is Dharma's epitome or the symbol of Dharma. It has been said by Valmiki. When Valmiki asked Narada, that was the story which we were talking about. Valmiki asked Narada, and Narada, who is Narada? Naram Paramatma Vishayakam Jnanam Dadadi iti Naradaha. One who is expert in giving the true knowledge of human being to others. He is Narada. Narada is not a quarrel monger, struggle monger. That's a narrative created by these film people and the leftist drama people. Narada is the person who is capable to give the true knowledge of human being. That is why his name has also been selected by the great forefathers. Narada, one who is able to give the true knowledge about Nara. So he gave an example of the true man, Rama, Ikshwaku Vamsha Prabhava Rama, son of the Sharatha, having 52 gunas and more. In Valmiki Ramana, you can find out how many gunas, how many values are there for Rama. So, that Rama is representing the culture. That's why I have already said that culture or the cultural foundation is the main necessity. If that culture is intact, you can say that you are completely free. That's why I have first of all said, why we are saying that this is the greatest moment in our history. We have attained the true national cultural freedom. That's the first point. And second one, that already Rishmi has mentioned, it marks the transformation of the collective agony to collective pride. For the last 25 generations, we are suffering with that collective agony. Our own Rama's Janma Sthala, Janma place, birthplace, has been ransacked, has been destroyed. And what a magnificent temple was there. It has been explained in many of our scriptures that the golden Gopura, in night, the moonlight is being reflected upon that golden Gopuras, and it will reach, that effulgence is reaching Lakshmanapuri, which is near about 80-90 kilometers away from Ayodhya. That was the condition of Ayodhya's Rama Mandir. And that Rama Mandir was destroyed, and using the very murtis carved pillars, very stones, Babar and Mirabaki has constructed this so-called disputed structure there. See, in 1976, in between 1976 and 1977, the first archaeological excavation took place at Ayodhya, under the leadership of Professor B.B. Lal, who was the Director General of ASI, Archaeological Survey of India. One of the junior young assistant of his was Sriman K.K. Muhammad. I am proud to say that he is from my Kerala. K.K. Muhammad. So he was explaining in his I Am Indian, his autobiography, saying at that time itself someone tried to block them from entering there. But they said that we are part of a research team, so you have to enter into it. While entering into it, they found out that there are at least 12 pillars having defaced rupas or forms of devis, serpents, dogs, and also pigs. Pigs means, in our belief, it is Varaha. So such pillars we have found, and it was quite evident, quite clear that it was a mandir, it was a temple. And with the help of that pillars, they have constructed this particular disputed structure. I don't want to say that it's a masjid. You also shall not repeat that word. That's very necessary also. When we are repeating that particular name, then that narrative will get strength. Don't repeat it. So that disputed structure has been constructed with the help of those stones which have been taken from the temple. And then they started excavation in the northern side and the western side, I remember. And they found that the base of those pillars were in a typical Padma Kriti, Padma Rupa, base were there, developed. And actually B.B. Lal didn't want to create a controversy on it, but he put it on record and filed and presented before the concerned authorities so that proper action must be taken. It is a Hindu temple, a Vishnu temple, so it is to be given back to Hindus. That was the conclusion they have made, but he didn't give it to the public, okay? But what happened at that time, when I am saying that collective agony has not started in 1528 alone. It was continuing for 25 generations. In 1976-77, after these Pakka conclusions made by the topmost authorities in the archaeology department, they never tried to give it to the public. or the press, but tried to present it before the dispensation at the Delhi. But some people who are close to Delhi at that time, came to know about it, especially Irfan Habib, Romila Thapar, S. Gopal, the great historians pretending themselves to be archaeologists too. Muhammad sir was saying always, they were never archaeologists. Archaeology is a special area. Irfan Habib don't know even A of archaeology. He's an A, but he don't know the A of archaeology. Romila Thapar is not an archaeologist. But they started coming out with false statements about this excavation, that they made the, what you say, सामान्यता कहते हैं ना, अच्छे लोगों के अच्छाई को बुरा लोग उनके पक्ष में उपयोग करते हैं. Bibilal didn't want to make it a controversy, so he kept it as a record of the archaeology department. And they started saying that these Bibilal and others have tried to pull out some false documents from there, but they failed miserably, and it has been proved beyond doubt that it is a masjid. They started propagating. At that time, Bibilal and Muhammad was become a bit furious, and they came out with actual reports, and they asked to the local Muslim people that it is necessary to give back to Hindus. But do you know, these communist fellows, these Marxist fake historians, with the help of the spineless, I would like to say, don't take it otherwise, I really mean it. The spineless Congress people also supported these communist people, and they started instigating the local Muslims that it is not necessary to give back this particular place of worship of yours, which you are continuously using for the last 400 plus years, 450 years. It is not necessary to give back. They instigated. They were behind forming Babari structure, action council and all. They were behind it. That agony continued. So that agony has been converted into a pride now, collective pride. Third point, the determination and toil of generations have been fulfilled. That has already been said by Rishmi also. That for last 500 years, 495 years, we are continuously fighting. And that incessant fight, irrespective of the fact that who was ruling at Delhi or ruling at Lucknow, they were ready to die for Rama. That was continuously doing, so it has been fulfilled. And the fifth one, it marks the culmination of centuries-long colonization of Bharat. That's also a fact. How can this particular structure built by a Muslim invader a symbol of colonization? See, what is colonization actually? When we are talking about colonization, we are only blaming English people. But only English people were never only colonizers of Bharat. The rest of the Europeans also colonized us. Not only Europeans, the Muslim invaders, Tartars, Mughals, they were also colonizers. So they attacked the Rama Janmabhoomi and Bharat, and that Rama Janmabhoomi, they knew that that's a center of cultural unity, center to give inspiration to whole world, Bharat and also whole world. So it is to be destructed. That was demolished. So as a part of their colonization, they have installed such a structure there. When it is being removed completely, when I am saying completely, in 1992 on December 6th it was removed, but it was not removed completely. Now on January 22nd, it is going to be removed completely. So that is a symbol of decolonization. The second resolution which we have to take, following the words of our revered Pradhan Mantri. In the last Republic Day, he has given us 5 points to take pledge upon. 5 points. One, about the Vikasit Bharat. Second, removing the last traces of servitude from our mind. हमारे मन से गुलामी का या colonization का last trace भी निकालना है. So I don't want to explain all the 5, But the second point, removing the last trace of colonization, that is going to happen. It also marks the restoration of national pride and glory. Seventh, it also marks the beginning of Amrita Kal. That's why I already said that it's a prelude of Amrita Kal also. We are entering into Amrita Kal. इससे ज़्यादा बेहतर कौन सा शुभारंभ हो सकते हैं, इससे भी ज़्यादा. And eighth, that's also important. Reclaiming the birthplace of Sri Rama means reclaiming our swatva, our selfhood, our identity. That's also great important. That's why we are saying this is the greatest moment in our national life. It gives an immense pleasure and pride to us when we are removing the symbol or the memorial of a servitude or slavery and installing the symbol of our pride, our unity there. Any society, not only Bharatiya, any society. When Arnold Toynbee was delivering the Azad Memorial lecture in Delhi, 1960, there is a very prestigious lecture series, that is Azad Memorial Address, in which he mentioned about a particular incident happened in the end of the 19th century. Russia had conquered Poland. Russia and Poland are both Christian countries. But Russia is following a Russian Protestant particular belief system, Russian Orthodox belief system, and Poland is following Roman Catholic. But once Russia conquered and Kabje mein le liya majority of the land, they, in order to show their supremacy, what they did, they destructed the Roman Catholic Church of Poland in Warsaw and constructed a Russian Orthodox church there. What is the difference between both Christ? There is no difference. But Khalil Gibran has mentioned about this Christ difference in his one of the main poems. But the main point is, just after the First World War, Toynbee is giving that example, after First World War, Poland became free. And the Polish society, in order to show that they are free, what was their first act? Toynbee is remembering, they pulled down the Russian Orthodox Church, Christ Murti, cross, and everything which has been installed by Russian people, they pulled down it and constructed their own Roman Catholic Polish church. Toynbee is saying, I can't blame them. I would like to quote Toynbee verbatim. I quote, I do not greatly blame the Polish government for having pulled down that Russian church. The purpose for which the Russians had built it had been not religious but political. Not religious but political. And the purpose had also been intentionally offensive. Unquote. See here, Babur has not constructed any pilgrimage place, not a worship place as it is. It was a political supremacy symbol. It was a non-national attempt. It is to ridicule us, belittle us. I would like to quote another very interesting sentence which has been told by Toynbee in that speech, in 1960 speech. He has actually, in a sarcastic style, he ridiculed us also. How? I will quote. Perhaps the Poles were really kinder in destroying Russian self-discrediting monument in Warsaw than you. You means he was speaking in Delhi before Bharatiyas. So he was saying, perhaps the Poles were really kinder in destroying the Russian self-discrediting monument in Warsaw than you have been in sparing Aurangzeb's mosques. You people are sparing Aurangzeb's mosque. You people are sparing Babur's mosque. You people are sparing Timur's mosque. But Poles were not that kinder. So they have done it. What was Toynbee's intention by saying this? See, for a nation, it must be culturally free. That's why he said. Not only Toynbee, many historians, but the main problem is that the so-called secular, liberal, democratic intellectuals of Bharat are not following this great person's words. What Neeraj Chaudhary has said, the great historian and cultural activist Neeraj Chaudhary has said, quoting, Muslims do not have the slightest right to complain about the destruction of one mosque. From 1000 AD, every Hindu temple from Kathiawar to Bihar, from the Himalaya to the Vindhyas, has been sacked and ruined. No nation with any self-respect will forgive this. Unquote. No nation with self-respect will forgive this. But we were forgiving them for the last 76 years. Now it has been removed. What V.S. Naipaul has said, many of you must be knowing Nobel Prize, Nobel laureate V.S. Naipaul. What he said? In Ayodhya, the construction of a mosque on a spot regarded as sacred by the conquered population was meant as an insult. It was an insult on us. So, again he said, what is happening in Bharat is a new historical awakening. A new historical awakening. Today it seems to me that Indians are becoming alive to their history. What is happening in India is a mighty creative process. Mighty creative process is happening. He has compared it with the pulling down of Berlin Wall. How Germany became one. In the very same way, Bharat is going to become one and mighty. So, such a mighty creative process is this. You cannot consider it as a communal thing. A fundamentalism versus another fundamentalism. Don't belittle this great movement like that. He, when talking with the great illustrious editor of Times of India, he was saying about all these aspects. About book, Rishmi has already told what was needed, so I don't want to go too much deep into that. But we all have to remember about, don't forget about the betrayals and betrayers. Who betrayed us? See, first of all, in 1528, Babur ordered Mirabaki to destruct Ramajanmabhoomi Mandir. That was, as far as the Ramajanmabhoomi episode is concerned, that was the major first betrayal. Second, see, she was mentioning about the Nihang Singhs and other Sikh brethren came to for the emancipation, for the liberation of Ramajanmabhoomi, and they were arrested and put behind bar. Just 1 year before that, during the 1857 war, how many of you are remembering about two persons' name, Ramcharan Das and Amir Ali of Ayodhya? One led the Hindu society in the 1857 war. Naturally, the second person, with the help of Achan Khan of Ayodhya, Faizabad, they led the Muslim force. The first prerequisite for a joint operation, they decided to liberate Ramajanmabhoomi and give back to the Hindu pilgrims. Knowing this fact that Hindus and Muslims are coming together and trying to liberate it and giving back the authority and right to Hindus to worship there, British came to know that it is going to be a very big danger as far as the Hindu-Muslim unity in the true sense of the word on the basis of the culture. If it happens, it will be very most dangerous aspect for them. So deceitfully, they caught both these leaders and they were killed, butchered cruelly, and hanged those dead bodies on an imli tree, a tamarind tree, just 2 or 3 kilometers away from today's Ramajanmabhoomi. Many of the pilgrims are not remembering about the Ramcharan Das and Amir Ali's great Belidan. We all must go to that Imli paid and also pay our respect towards them also. That has happened in 1857. In 1949, just after we got the political freedom, you may be knowing, our people, our great nationalist leaders tried to liberate many of the temples which were ransacked by the invaders. One such example was Somanath, under the mighty leadership of K.N. Munshi, Rajendra Prasad, initiated by none other than our Sardar Patel. So it happened despite the, Nehru's opposition. It happened. Nehru tried to stop that, but it was against Munshi. Munshi is such a person. Rajendra Prasad was such a great person having willpower. Rajendra Prasad decided to go there to inaugurate the first part of the construction. But Nehru didn't allow him. But Rajendra Prasad went there and announced that this is the day in which we are becoming free after 1,000 years of servitude. What is the 1,000 years? It was only 5 years after independence, is it not? But he was remembering about 1,000 years. What was it? Just to think about it. Naturally, other three major temples also should have been liberated. Ayodhya, Mathura and Kashi, Varanasi. But it didn't happen. But some well-meaning forces started working for it. Again, one KK came into the fore. That person is also from Kerala. KK Nair, the Faisabad collector. He deputed his assistant Guru Datta Singh to go Ayodhya and make a thorough study and what is to be done. You please give me a report. Guru Datta Singh went there and studied well and gave a fantastic report to KK Nair, the district collector. And what was the suggestion given by Guru Datta Singh and KK Nair to the government? He suggested that this particular area is sacred for Hindus and it must be given back to Hindus and Muslims shall not be allowed to pray here. That was the conclusion made by them. But after going through this report, our great first Pradhana Mantri, he, with the help of Govinda Pallapa Pant, who was the Mukhyamantri of Uttar Pradesh area, asked KK Nair, ordered KK Nair to evacuate the Hindus from Ayodhya. That was the result. See, the report was one, and Nehru and Govind Pallap Pant has decided something else. Nowadays, many of the Congress leaders are claiming that we have given the freedom to worship there in Ayodhya. You alone is not, so we have got every right. You may not invite us, but we will come there. Your invitation is false, so I will come there whenever we want. ऐसा करके बहुत सारे हम सुन रहे होंगे. What is the right? It would have been easily sold at that particular point when the district collector, with all authentic study, he requested the government to give permission for Hindus. But instead, the government has asked KK Nair to evacuate the rest of the Hindus there. But KK Nair was such a person, he said that I will not do it. A district collector having 40 or 42 years old stood against Nehru. And he said that I am not going to do it. So what happened? KK Nair was suspended. Not suspended, dismissed. But then he fought against Nehru, Govinda Pallapa Pant. And he won in the case. Anything related to KK Nair is respected. Being respected there. Not only wife, his driver was one. Driver was one from an assembly seat nearby. So this feeling has not been created by we people, don't claim so. Many persons have sacrificed their everything for this liberation of Rama Janmabhoomi. He fought and created such an atmosphere. I have seen many houses having KK Nair Saab's photo in their puja ghar. In their puja ghar, they are keeping KK Nair's photo. They are considering him as an Ishvara. So these two KKs are also to be remembered. Truly, on 22nd of January, he will be both these great personnel. One is living, one is alive now, one is not mortally alive, but he is also a sense of... So that purpose has also been sabotaged by the central government, especially Nehru and others. That was another betrayal. And 76, 77, archaeological, but I have told, the communist and Congress together sabotaged it. And in 1980s onwards, when Vishwa Hindu Parishat and Margadarshak Mandal started the fight, do you know? They have put before the government Rajiv Gandhi, Narasimha Rao, VP Singh, Chandrasekhar, before all the prime ministers, they put up only one, option, that we are ready to allow the Muslim brothers to take this Babari Masjid as it and relocate it. Archaeological Survey of India at that point of time made a pakka plan for that. Taking, dismantling brick by brick and put, it can be constructed somewhere else. But the Congress leadership and the communist leadership and the Muslim fundamentalist leadership were not ready to do. At a one point of time, Vishwa Hindu Parishat and Margadarshak Mandal has signed in the MOU, Memorandum of Understanding. But Babari so-called council committee members or leaders, they refrained from that meeting. They never came to that meeting. So those were all the betrayals. That's why December 6 happened. December 6 has not been happened on a fine morning. It was happened only because the Hindus were being pushed to a corner. There is no other go for us, for Hindus. So they fought back. That fighting, Hindus' actual fight, which has happened there on December 6, it is inexplicable. No one can explain about that. Those who were there at top platforms, many great leaders were saying, I heard even none other than Manya Sheshadriji saying, he was present there. He was seeing only the real Ramadasa there. The real Ramadasa were fighting there. Humanly impossible things have been made possible by the Karsevaks there. What all hurdles were being made there. Barricades, iron barricades, armored vehicles, 16,000 strong policemen and military. But the Karsevaks, without any weapon, they went forward just like the real Ramadasa, Anjaneya, Hanumanji. And before them, these barricades became twigs. They broken down like anything. The armored vehicles were being kicked away like kids' playthings. They kicked it away. They ran on that, pulled it down. It was actually happened only because you were not ready to hear what Hindus were pleading. Just like Sri Krishna before Duryodhana was asking, what was their demand? They were only saying that we are satisfied with the half of the nation. We are satisfied, okay, if you are not ready to give the half, we are ready to satisfy with the 5 villages. 1 village, 5 houses, even 1 house, and even 1 room we are ready. But what was the stand you took? So that is the divine's play. Divinity wants the Hindus' might must be shown to the whole world. That's why we as Naipaul-like persons started saying that it's a creative process. It has happened. So with this background, inspiration of Hindu Renaissance, Rama Janmabhoomi, this book, it has discussed about the contemporary Hindu discourses, and you have to go through it. You have heard, you have experienced twice her eloquence, her style of presenting things, not only speech, in writing also. It's such a narrative skill, I would like to say it's an exemplary style. In this tender age, she has got that capacity to write such a wonderfully, brilliantly blended history, contemporary discourse and other socio-political and cultural aspects without disturbing the flow of narration. You know, all these aspects when an author, I have also tried to write some books, I know the difficulty to blend all these aspects in one book. But he effortlessly done it, and kudos to that great, my young sister, even daughter. So he has done it very well, wonderful readability, and in many of the chapters he has mentioned about, it is history. Ramayana, Mahabharata is our history. Itihasa, it has happened there. It is not mythology. It cannot be ridiculed as mere myths. As mentioned in the 2nd chapter about that, though I have noted down some chapters also, Rashmi. And in a wonderful paragraph in this 2nd chapter, she was writing, with a cunning subtlety, labeling this part I like very much. That's why I am quoting. Don't take it otherwise. I know time is up. I am quoting. With a cunning subtlety, labeling the Ramayana as a mere myth has become a calculated strategy to discredit the profound significance of the entire Rama Janmabhoomi movement. It seeks to undermine the noble aspirations of indigenous people, dismissing their earnest endeavor to reclaim the fading embers of a glorious past as mere short of a criminal attempt, as mere figments of their imagination. Figment has already been told. This audacious act of appropriation is nothing short of a criminal attempt to rob the indigenous people of their rightful ownership over a lived history that finds its intricately woven proof in the very fabric of Bharat's geography, its resplendent art and architecture, its tantalizing cuisine. Being a girl, he mentioned about cuisine also. Its vibrant language, its pulsating culture, its steadfast attitudes, and its unwavering faith. There are much to quote. I would like to request you all to purchase it and read. At least for me, you have to purchase. Otherwise, Dama Ravindraji, because of Dama Ravindraji, first book sale has gone up. So please do it. And the history of all archaeological survey, I have mentioned about archaeological survey that has been taken from her book also. And as in the 8th chapter, he has mentioned and he has given a caution to us also. How it all happened. And it has been titled Consequences of Complacency. So we shall not be bound in that feeling that everything has happened. There are much to achieve. We have to work together. So there are so many temples which she has already given a full list of ransacked temples and everything. And at end, a letter from a Karsevak given in the last part of the book is quite captivating. It's an example has been given how a true Karsevak was thinking about that movement. It conveys to the readers the spirit of the Rama Janmabhoomi movement. So she herself has concluded by saying this book is not just a documentation of events. It's not just a documentation. It is a testament to the resilience and determination of Hindus in their pursuit of justice. It offers the insights into legal strategies and complexities we adopted and courtroom dynamics we navigated to secure a favorable verdict. It was a multifaceted movement. It was not just Rama Mandra Japa. Along with that, archaeology, history, education, and also legal fight, democratic fight, all blended into together. She herself is saying this book is a testament to that resilience, that combined effort. So I would like to congratulate the author for another matter also. See, in the first page itself, you can say that to whom she had devoted it. To every drop of Hindu blood, sweat and tears shed to the inextinguishable Hindu spirit to fighting the good fight. She has devoted it to. And another factor that also is a major thing, that was also another reason which I am asking you all to purchase the book. All royalty proceeds will be donated to the Rama Mandir. She is going to devote it. So सामान्यतः इस प्रकार के ऐतिहासिक क्षण में बहुत बड़े ऑथर्स बुक्स लिखते हैं, क्योंकि लोग राम जन्मभूमि देखकर ही पुस्तक खरीदेंगे. What is the main intention behind it? You know better than. So in the first page itself, she struck it off, and said that each and every penny coming to her through selling of this book will go to Rama Mandir. So it is a Rama Yajna. This book is a Rama Yajna in that way. So we all have to come together and do this. And again, I would like to say, I am quoting another famous author and also repeating which has been said by Rishmi in her book about the complacency factor. A famous author, G. Michael Hoff, is very much famous. I know I go into him, I go deep into him only because of this particular quotation which I like very much. It is about a pervasive cyclical vision of history. He is saying, quote, hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create, there the cycle will start, weak men. And weak men create hard times. So, when you are saying that everything has happened, what happened in 1947, August 15th, that we became free and everything will be looked after by Delhi. That was the complacency factor. What we have suffered, you know better than us, me. You know it better. So now Rama Janmabhoomi has been liberated completely. Prana Pratishtha is going to happen. We have got an opportunity to visit, having darshan there in March month. March month, don't go in on January 20th, 22nd. Again, I am remembering you. Let us celebrate it here. Okay. So, don't think that everything has been attained. I have already stated that we have attained freedom. That is it. It is a National Freedom Day that I have said. It's okay. But there are lot of things to be done. So, we have to apply ourselves, devote ourselves for that. We shouldn't get carried away by this achievement. We have miles to go, and moreover, we have to keep this momentum as the world looks upon Bharat for more. Namaskar.